8 minutes. That's all the window the team had from first door pop to vault capture. They moved in silent. Then the bunker woke up. Strobe alarms, internal jammers, and a counter-assault from a sealed stairwell. We'll show you the exact pivot that kept the breach alive when the first shield went down. And when the vault opened, the operation stopped being just about cocaine. Stay through the breach timeline to see the item that changed the exfil route and the evidence priorities on the spot. The bunker didn't wake up when the door blew. It woke up when the second hinge failed and the stairwell slammed open from the inside. First contact hit at the lip of a 40-foot descent. Steel rebar in the walls. Independent lights flickering to life like a timer. Teams were already stacked, breacher tools clipped and hot. But the uplink went dark as soon as the charge peeled the first door. Localized jamming bit the net, so they shifted to short directional calls and hand signals. The clock started the moment the frame curled. 8 minutes to vault capture wasn't a target. It was the line between getting pinned in a funnel and owning the corridor. Internal countermeasures rolled in waves. Strobes hit cadence. RF noise swamped anything broad, and the next corridor tightened with pressure locks that hissed shut in sequence. The lead shield took a direct strike, angled fire from above, and collapsed to a knee. The stack flexed. Second shield up, rifle muzzles indexed low to high, and the rear element pressed forward to fill the hole. Stairs turned into a chute for brass and concrete dust. The defenders on the landing had short barrels, tight grips, and a plunging angle from a half-level up, protected by a ballistic plate on wheels. They were ready for a head-on rush. They didn't get one. The answer was controlled bursts and flash disruption at offset angles. Grenade pops staggered. Time to blind the top landing while muzzles cut the near left corner and walked fire up the opposite rail. Urban entry doctrine treats fortified stairwells as classic kill funnels because they force a narrow, predictable approach and favor gravity-fed fire. To beat plunging angles under strobes and smoke, you slice the pie tighter, expose inches, not bodies, and change tempo every few steps so their rhythm never lines up with your movement. Feet go to edges. Rifles climb the handrail line, and shields roll, stop, pivot, and roll again instead of trying to bull through. Tech stayed quiet but did the work. Low-light sight lines flattened the strobe pulse enough to hold targets. Directional comms punched through the local jam without lighting up the spectrum. Breaching charges came out small and purpose-built, taped and braced for reinforced frames. On the right wall, a side corridor looked dead. Clean tiles, no airflow ripple, but heat seeped under paint where it shouldn't. A false wall hit a narrow service channel. Two-man peel, razor line cut, charged the seam, and a short burst folded a sentry who had been waiting to flank the stack. That route cleared. They gained a straight shot to the vault junction without giving up the stairwell control. Clock pressure climbed at the junction. The vault door sat on a magnetic interlock with a shielded, independent circuit. Power loss wouldn't matter. It needed physical defeat. A secondary team pinned the stairwell, trading short strings with defenders who probed with rifle grenades bounced off risers. The breach cell laid a charge ladder, spacing the segments to shear the locking claws instead of blowing the whole slab off the hinges. Each strip went on under nods, with charges wired to fire in a stagger that would punch and then pull. The immediate gunfire made sense once you saw the layout. The bunker used a layered defense with an internal ready force staged behind a sealed stairwell. The design exploited the entry funnel, set up a plunging advantage, and triggered on alarm to force attackers to fight uphill into armor. With the stairwell contained and the hinge charges set, the clock read 4 minutes. Entry survival was done. Now the push was vault access under live fire while the jammer pulsed and the corridor kept breathing like a machine. The vault door broke its seal and everything shifted. The cargo on the floor outweighed the timeline by a mile, but the plan grew instead of shrinking. The breach cell had split the magnetic interlock cleanly, hinge cuts sequenced, and the slab rolled back on a stiff axle. Inside sat rows of palletized bricks, each one shrink-wrapped and barcoded, stacked 4 high and tight to the corners. A secondary locker ran cold along the right wall. Its latch clicked to a coded pull and revealed a sealed case buckled into a cradle. The clock didn't slow. It got louder. 30 tons isn't a bag and tag problem. It's an industrial lift in a hallway built to trap you. As the door swung, The stairwell behind them coughed back to life. Defenders had rotated, fresh muzzles in the gap, and grenades started skipping down the channel. The landing crew pushed rifles to the threshold and threw controlled bursts to hold the angle while fragments snapped off the risers. The corridor breathed dust. Movement had to be measured. Each pallet weighed like a small car, yet the orders pushed to move more, not less. The pivot was logistics. A dedicated element came through the choke with powered pallet movers humming low, collapsible rollers popping into rails, and sling-ready nets laid out by color code. They swung the first 2 pallets onto rollers that bridged the bad seams. Exterior teams caught the signal and synced lift assets without burning the comms window. Directional relays kept the net tight enough to coordinate, loose enough not to light the room. The stairwell pins stayed hot, trading fire in short strings. Every 40 seconds, another grenade chattered on the steps and died to a hard angle. Military-grade enablers made a law enforcement raid behave like a field lift. Airframes waited on timing calls, not chatter. Crews plotted approach headings to keep rotor wash from turning the LZ into a sandstorm between buildings. Winch-capable platforms took the hard pulls from confined access points, keeping cables vertical to avoid wall strikes. Inside, vibration-damped skids carried weight across spalled concrete without shaking cargo loose or telegraphing through the floor. The goal wasn't speed for its own sake. It was predictable movement under fire, then a snag. A pallet jack nosedived into a crater of broken aggregate near the junction and wedged hard. 2 minutes could die right there. The alternate route was already planned. They shifted left to a strip marked in rehearsal, tossed low-friction skids under the leading edge, and dragged the load clear with a quick cinch. The rollers reset on a brighter line of tape, and the chain kept moving. A delay evaporated because somebody had mapped the bad concrete days before. Defender numbers stabilized in the low dozens. Contact logs marked compact rifles and subguns snapping from short cover, with rifle grenades used as area denial in the throat of the corridor. The pattern was burst, pause, throw, then step. The pin team answered with staggered muzzle flashes and held the top of the rail, never giving them time to mass at the landing. The fight wasn't a blaze. It was a metronome. At the locker, the sealed case had weight in a different way. Documents and encrypted media inside linked command signatures to what sat on the pallets. Priorities flipped. A courier team peeled off, locked the case into a hardened carrier, and handed it to the runner whose job was only to leave.